Good evening and bienvenue, my fond fair friends, family, and subscribers. This is your humble narrator, Diomedes Rouge, here to bring you part 3 of What If a Monster Hunter was sent to the world of Ruby. Now, where we last left off, Ignatius and Eugene just got finished with getting their tokens, their relics. Team Ruby and such were also going there collecting their knight relics, the knight pieces of the chess, and so on and so forth. They were heading back. Ignatius was, well, a little irritated that he didn't get to use more of his explosive techniques, but he was happy nonetheless with what he had. And he did feel that he did show at least a modicum of what he could do. Upon re-entering, well, they all went to the announcements where basically anyone who successfully got the relics were, well, accepted, and anyone who did not, well, they would have to try again next year. It is a prestigious school after all. Now, this is where things truly start to kick in. The team forming ceremony. Team Juniper was formed, Team Ruby was formed. Both of them, well, both of the leaders quite shocked. Ignatius figured, well, it'll be interesting being placed on a team. I'm usually a solo hunter, but who knows? Maybe having someone else take the heat for once will be a good thing. And then Ignatius, Eugene, Natalia, and Gallon get called up. Now Ignatius knows Eugene. He knows Eugene fairly well. The other two he hasn't met yet. He looks behind him to see a, well, very young and somewhat small wolf-faunus. At least he believes that's what they're called. With silver hair. And, correction, pardon me. Yep, I was right. Silver hair, red eyes. Wearing, well, black with tints of gold. Carrying a smallish longsword on her back. Goes, what's... And in Ignatius's mind, he just thinks, what's with people carrying around those small longswords? They're so tiny. It's kind of adorable, but still. I goes, oh well. Maybe we can get her upgraded with an actual one later. And Gallon, as he looks behind her, a fairly tall man, 5'11", with, well, blue and silverish clothing. Bluish white clothing, my apologies, blue and white. Carrying what appears to be a smallish buckler and a hand axe. Goes, well, guess he's more agile. This young man has dark black hair with piercing blue eyes. You could say it's chilling to the core whenever he stares at you. But something very odd Ignatius sees. A little cat charm attached to the hilt of his weapon, and he just... Weird. Oh well. I've seen weirder stuff. I have definitely seen weirder stuff. As I get up there, Ignatius is then called forward by Mr. Ozpin. He says, "Yes, sir. Ignatius, you will be in charge. You will now team leader of Team Igni." He just looks at him and goes, "What?" "Yes, you are now leader of Team Igni." He goes, "Ha. Well, thank you. I certainly didn't expect this, but I will do my best to live up to your expectations. At least while I'm here. I'm sure you will. As everyone is kind of dismissed. And tells them to prepare for their classes tomorrow. And, Ignatius. Yes, sir. Make sure you're in dress code. Dress code? Yes, dress code. Combat armor isn't allowed to be worn on school during school time. Ignatius just suddenly develops a mild twitch. Just, what? What? I can't wear my armor when I want? As Yang kind of walks over and taps Ruby on the shoulder, be like, you might want to talk to your guy over there. I think he's having a little bit of a hard time. It's like, he's not my guy. Be like, not yet, but if you play your cards right, shut up, Yang. As Ruby walks over there and basically says, is everything alright, Igni? Yeah, fine. I just didn't expect there to be a dress code. Well, I do have some armors that would fit the bill. He said that combat armor isn't allowed, but what about armor that doesn't look like it's made for combat? Igni, do you have any plain clothes at all? No. And that's whenever Eugene and Gallon walk over behind him and just smack him on the back and just say, well, looks like we have to go get you some. He goes, what? Yeah, come on, Igni. No, 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 no. As they kind of pull him off, and Ruby just kind of looks at the situation and goes, well, mind if I tag along too? Sure. As then her team comes over and says, no, Ruby, we gotta go take care of our things, get everything sorted out. Go, right. See y'all later. See ya. Pray for me. By the sapphire star, pray. As he gets pulled along. So, Ignatius, was it? Gallon says. Yes, but most people just call me Igni. Alright, Igni. So tell me, what exactly what's your specialty? What's your weapon and semblance? Well, I have over 23 different types of weaponry, and as far as I know, I don't have a semblance. You don't have a semblance, yet you were made leader of a team? Pardon me for saying so, but I don't like liabilities, and that sounds like a big one. As then Eugene kind of intervenes and says, hold up. You haven't seen him fight, even without a semblance. This guy took on a Death Stalker virtually single-handedly and pretty much obliterated it, as well as a few Beowulfs. Well, I guess that fits the bill just fine then. The name's Galen Bouchard. I specialize in ice type and utilizing ice dust. It's a pleasure to meet you. Ignatius Reinhardt. I specialize in medium range, close range, and long range attack styles. In addition to that, high explosives, and usually I am the vanguard. However, if I need to, I can act as rear guard and support. In addition to that, I also have quite a few items on me that can help heal, fortify, and restore the entire team if need be. And if I'm really pushing it, I can switch out to a set of armor that allows me to, well, be a whole lot more supportive while still maintaining a combat superiority. What? I'm an all-rounder. Got it. And what about you there, Miss, Natalia Gunn? Natalia Gunn. Listen, I prefer not to talk, if that's alright. Sure. Actions speak louder than words, after all. Long as you have my back, I'll have yours, Ignatius says in a proud tone. As they all kind of get to the stores, and, well, they have to get Ignatius to get some actual clothing. 500 linny later, and he winds up with, well, quite a few new sets of clothes that are fit and ready for school. I don't like this. These clothes feel restrictive and not at all protective. Come on, Igny. It's like, you come on. It's like, Eugene, you know. It's like, I don't like taking off my armor, much less going long periods of time without my armor. And yet, they're asking me to do exactly that. Why don't you like why do you like your armor so much? I'm used to it. Where I'm from, people usually wore their armor all the time. Really? All the hunters and huntresses? Yeah, usually. I mean, heck, you could see them walking around the guild hall with it all the time. They never walked around with just their plain clothing, for the most part. There were a few random cases, but for the most part, yeah, we mostly walked around with just our standard arms and armor. Did you guys ever know how to relax? Oh yes, we relaxed plenty. We forged weapons, we fished, we gathered. But you usually did so with your armor on. Yes. Igny, you gotta learn to let your guard down once in a while. Never! Okay then, we have a tough nut to break here, don't you think so, Galen? Yep. Yes, we do. But it should be fun. It's like, I know. It's like, as they head back to Beacon and get themselves ready in their own dorms. Natalia has her own room. Meanwhile, the guys kind of have a large one to share. There you go. This is a bit cramped, don't you think? And that's whenever, Ignatius just kind of takes the bed that was supposed to be his and just kind of opens up the window and tosses it out. He then in turn takes out a hammer and a good couple of spikes and sets up a hammock. There we go. No longer cramped. Um, Igni? Yes, I think the school funded that. And then the school could take it away. Just like they took away the ability for me to wear my armor. You're still sore about that, aren't you? Yes. Igni. Yes? You're weird, Ignatius says. I mean, Eugene says. It's just like, to me, this entire place is weird. Oh, well, at least there's a lot more guys around. What do you mean? Oh, right. I guess, well, where I'm from, about 75% of the hunters that are around are female. Wait, seriously? Yeah. It's actually. Why? Well, when the monsters first started appearing, there used to be a lot more males. Then, as they kind of got sent out to attack and defend against them, they died quickly. As we learned more about the monsters, we got stronger against them. However, due to the however though, the hunter base was kind of diminished due to how few males there were left. So eventually women started getting put into it, and since they had more knowledge about it, they became quite successful. And now that the men that are still around, well, yeah, it's kind of become quite harsh to be a man where I'm from. What do you mean? Well, you got women constantly trying to vie for you, and then you got other guys trying to put their dominance over you to show off to the other females that they're better than you. I swear, it's constantly irritation and annoyance, but you learn to live with it. All you gotta do is show them off enough times, and eventually you get to you eventually get them to fuck off. Huh. Okay. So you're saying during that entire time, with all those girls around, you didn't try and get a girlfriend? I wasn't really looking for one. Why? Dude, I'm 18. Back then, when I was still there, around the village I was growing up in, I was 17. When I was at Astera, I was too busy hunting. It was like whenever we fixed one problem there, 4 more popped up. And whenever we fixed the other 4, one giant problem that threatened the entire island would pop up. And it was just like, ugh, alright, let me go grab my sword. It was just constant irritation and annoyance. There was no time to look for a female, or anyone really. It was just, ugh. Even though there were a few offers, but still. So all you did was hunt. Huh. Anyways, mind taking off your armor and everything? Why? Well, you're gonna have to get used to it eventually, and besides, you got new clothes to try on. Right, fine. As he heads off to the bathroom and, well, doffs his armor as they hear a lot of boom, bam, crash, bang. Says, probably should have convinced him to take it off out here, but as he walks back out after a good couple minutes and, well, sets up a little armor stand in the other side of the room, wearing his, well, a presentable school attire. Man, this thing sucks. Well, at least you get to carry a weapon with you. It's like, yeah, that's about the only good news that comes with this bullshit. It's like, you really hate wearing formal clothing, don't you? To an extent, yes. How did you get to be a leader of a team again? Gallon says. Honestly, I have no clue. I wasn't asking for it. I'm usually used to solo hunting. Wait, solo hunting? You never hunted as a team? No, no, no. I did hunt with a team. But where I'm from, teams are not set. Anyone can join them or leave them at any time. Really? Yeah, usually it's a four-man squad, but I've been a part of teams that were two-person and even three-person squads. And usually joining and leaving isn't that big of a deal. You go off for one hunt together, take care of one problem, then you all go your separate ways, or you go out, take care of a group of problems, and then again you split off and do things differently again. That's completely different from how we're taught. We usually have to stick with teams, and then when we get good enough, we split up on our own if we choose to. It's like, yeah, true. I guess that's one way of doing it. We go with the survival of the fittest route. You start off alone, and if you survive that, then you're good enough to be a part of a team for a little while. Uh-huh. Yeah, your place sounds a bit scary. Oh, you have no idea. Let's just put it this way. At least we don't have to deal with a basilgeese. Basilgeese? Monster from where I'm from. God damn that thing. So, what's so wrong about it, if I may ask? Trust me, just hope you never have to find out. As well, he says, alright, it's getting pretty late as he knocks on the door to Natalia's room. She opens it and Ignatius just kind of says, hey, I'm about to make some dinner. You want some? She says, she just shakes her head and he goes, alright, give me a few. As he basically hands everyone a small menu. What the hell is this? I learned how to cook from the Meowster chef. I learned how to cook from a Meowster chef when early on. Be like, a what? Meowster chef. I think he has a slight stutter or lisp. Probably. Probably, Gallon says. As they kind of sit down and look at me like, okay, so where are you going to be cooking this? As he reaches into his, his storage box and brings out the portable barbecue pit. As he in turn swaps out the spit roast for a grill head. Why do you have something like that? He goes, for cooking out in the field. You can never be too prepared. Uh-huh. As he begins to, cook some stuff up. After a pretty decent meal, he goes, holy crap. I may not have seen you fight, but I know for one thing, if your fighting's half as good as your cooking, you deserve to be here, as Gallon says. Natalia just kind of digs into it, and she's happy with what she's eating. And she's happy with it. As well, Eugene is stuffing his face, just very good, very, very good. As Ignatius just kind of goes, nothing brings a smile to a person's face more than, proper cooking. Sharing food with friends. And then he goes around saying, hey, I know y'all didn't ask to be a part of my team or anything like that, and I know it's kind of weird how it happened, but I hope we can get along well. Now let's get some shut-eye and get ready for training, or whatever they have planned for us tomorrow. They say, right. As they all kind of, go and pass out. a few hours later, around 4 a.m., Ignatius wakes up, jumps onto the floor nice and quietly, reaches into his well, I wouldn't say his storage box, and one brings out his lance. He goes, this'll make an impression. As he grabs it, attaches his shield, and activates the collapsing function of his lance, which brings the head of the lance down about a good 3 feet, making it more easy to carry. If this doesn't make an impression, nothing will. As well, he goes, they're all asleep. I can go easy on them, it's a new day after all, and I just got to being team leader. No need to push him too hard, as he walks out the room and proceeds to go outside, where he, just kind of goes out front and just looks off into the emerald forest there, and he goes, here go. I think I want to have some fun. As he backs up, puts down his lance, and just charges straight off the side of the cliff. He lands down and, starts hunting and gathering. Kills a few beowulfs, a few ursas, gathers a few herbs and mushrooms and ingredients, bit of honey here and there. Goes, reminds me of home. As he sees the sun coming up a little bit, and he goes, alright, guess that's enough time for fun. As he gets up to the side of the cliff and just kinda, starts climbing. Goes, damn it, no, I should have brought my slinger. As he just continues to climb upwards and higher until he's all the way back up at Beacon. He says, that's it. Next time, I'm bringing my damn slinger. And he realizes his attenda. He goes, alright, so port's class is at 8. Judging from the way the sun's shining, it's around 6, maybe 7. Alright. And then he hears a bit of maybe I should wake up the guys and get them some breakfast. As he begins to head back up, and lo and behold, whenever he goes towards the dorms, he hears a very familiar voice. Very familiar voices, I should say. And he hears a group and they're all female. He hears a telltale Ruby, Yang, Blake, and Weiss. As they're all kind of, not really arguing per se, but bickering. And then he kind of hears slight sounds of construction, and then he happens to just, dun dun dun, on the door. They open it up to see, Ruby and Yang immediately know him as Ignatius. Meanwhile, no, it's Igni, while Weiss and Blake, they've never really seen him without his armor on, so they're just kind of going, huh? Who are you? Igni! As Ruby calls out and just kind of gives him a light hug. We're like, what are you doing here? I heard sounds of distress. Huh? As he just kind of looks at the slam shackle job they did with the ropes and the books and the beds, and he just goes, give me 2 minutes. He runs full scale back to his room, comes back with his item box, opens it up, and does a, well, and says, "Out, all of you." "What? Out?" "But this is our out." Okay. They all get out of the room and they hear more sounds of construction. Boom, 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 bing, zzz. As well, they enter in to see proper platforms have been made, that the books have been taken out from underneath the flooring of one of the beds and been replaced with actual decor and bolts and everything to keep them in placed into the wall. How did you... you kind of have to learn to build things properly where I'm from. Otherwise, well, things can go out of hand real quick. You have to have more than one skill whenever you're a hunter. Otherwise, it makes life boring. As he puts everything away and says, "Will you look at the time? I gotta be heading off to class." Whose class?" "Ports. It starts in about 5 minutes." As he runs off and puts everything down, and everyone, all of Team Ruby's kind of panicking, goes, "Guess I misjudged the time. Oh well." As he sees his team's already gone, he puts his box back down and, well, takes off. They all enter the class around the same time, say, "Sorry we're late." "No problem, just don't let it happen again," Mr. Port says. As they sit down for class, and, well, you know Mr. Port. If you don't, he can be quite boring with his old tales. The tales of his youth, whenever he was an expert hunter, with his blunderbuss axe. He goes. I don't care what people say. I like Mr. Port. He's funny. He's cool. But I admit, his class would probably be boring as hell. You go in there to learn something, all you get is stories. Be like, "Son of a bitch. This is what I paid for. Damn it." After Port's class is finished, everyone but Ignatius was sleeping. Ignatius was mildly interested. He's used to hearing stories of elders, and, well, he was always taught to listen thoroughly, even if you didn't retain any of it, to make it seem like you were interested. Because you're respecting the older generation when you do. They go to the cafeteria, and pardon me, they're all getting ready for lunch. Team Ignis sitting around with Team Juniper and Ruby. Everyone's having a fun time, laughing, getting to know one another. And then Ignatius hears something. He hears a group laughing. Why does he hear a group laughing? Simple. Carden, a part of the leader of Team Cardinal, is chuckling while him and two of his teammates have this little girl, well, kind of surrounded. They're laughing relatively harshly, and one of them pulls on her ears. Ignatius turns around and sees this and just goes, "What?" Blake interjects and says, "Well, faunists aren't exactly treated kindly in most places. There's been a bit of a racial disagreement with them for quite a while." "Why? Do you not bleed the same blood?" "No, we bleed the same. We have the same color of blood." "Do you not feel or have empathy?" "Of course we do." "Good. as he quickly stands up, and you hear the loud thud, thud, thud of his feet tapping on the ground. Why are they making a thud? Simple. He's actually putting weight into his feet, into his footsteps. He's not stomping, no. But you can tell with every single step he takes, he is not happy. 'Cause, well, he may not like getting involved in other people's fights. He hates whenever fellow hunters disrespect fellow hunters without cause. And so, he walks over. And he, well, gently taps Carden on the back of his shirt. Meanwhile, back at the table, Eugene and Gallon are kind of going, what do you think's going to happen? I have no idea. Well, Blake, Ruby, Weiss, and Yang are going like, what's going on? Wait, should we interfere? I don't think so, Rubes. It might not be a good idea. I mean, you never know. It depends on what he does. We can have his back at any moment. And then Team Juniper with Pyra, Nora, Rin, and Jean are just kind of looking, going, what the heck's he planning? As suddenly a loud, echoing impact just resonates throughout the hall, throughout the cafeteria. As they look, Carden is on the ground with a bleeding lip. And what's standing there? Simple. Ignatius, with what looks like which looks like he just backhanded the living crap out of Carden. Cutting back to Ignatius's point of view, what the hell do you want? Carden says. Ignatius goes, why are you messing with the girl? None of your business, twerp. Now get out of here, twerp. I'm bigger than you, boy. I'm stronger than you. And I'm sure as hell more experienced than you. Mind your goddamn manners before I break your skull. Now, why are you messing with the girl? She's a faunus. And your point being, she's a fellow hunter. Or huntress, rather. Which means she deserves respect, especially amongst her peers. That means you. Deserves respect. People earn it. Especially Fauna says, well, he's quick as well. You probably guessed this. Ignatius just takes the back of his hand and quickly thwops it right across Carden's face as hard as he can without breaking anything, causing Carden to get sent onto the ground. His other two teammates kind of look on in shock as they just realized this guy just hit their leader. They're about to move whenever they suddenly can't feel their legs. Their legs don't want to move. And Velvet, the girl who was getting picked on, well, her animal instincts are picking up something very fierce right in front of her. As Ignatius is just letting off a violent stream of untoward hatred. as he readjusts his look at Velvet, who kind of looks a bit down in fear. He says, "Are you okay, miss?" Yeah? He points over to where his Team Juniper and Ruby are gathered. Go there. And, I'm assuming your ears are quite sensitive, yes? Uh, yes? Good. Go over there and you might want to cover them. I need to teach some boys a lesson. As he quickly kind of snaps his neck. Or pops his neck, I should say. And then he looks at those three. He quickly just picks up Carden by the scruff of his shirt and just goes, "Listen here. You're not going to pick on her anymore. I catch you picking on anyone, I'll break you. I'm not from around here, and I don't care how things go where you're from, nor do I care about how powerful or important you think you are. Nor do I care how you think of me. What I do care about is the sheer fact that you are an asinine little prick who gets off on harming people because they're better than him. And she is better than you. She has potential. Where you maxed yours out a long time ago. Carden, was it? You're nothing but a big fish in a tiny pond who gets only a bit of pleasure from trying to make the smaller fish struggle more to get out of it. Get over yourself. Grow a pair and grow up. Because the next time I have to intervene on anyone's behalf when dealing with you, I will break every bone in your body. Do we have an understanding? Here, Carden." Yes. Yes. What? Yes, sir. Good. As he puts his hand on Carden's head and kind of ruffles that oh so perfect dew of his. Now, get out of my sight. As they kind of take off. As Ignatius just kind of lumbers back to his chair and sits down. Well, that went easier than expected. Usually morons like that want to put up more of a fight. My apologies. Ignatius Reinhardt. At your service, Miss Velvet. At your service, Miss Velvet. As well, he kind of gets a bit of a, I wouldn't say a round of applause, but the equivalent of such. Basically, everyone just going like, "Dude, that was awesome." Like, well, it was nothing. Anyone would do the same. Apparently, not everyone did. Everyone did. Be like, so, where's your team, Miss Velvet? Oh, I'm part of, well, I'm part of Team Coco. I'm part of Coco's team. Be like, well, I hope I get to meet her someday. As for this, well, I hope you had at least a pleasant experience with me. Sorry that our first interaction had to be so gruff. As she kind of walks away and everything. That's whenever Nora starts, not Nora, Natasha kind of looks at him a bit funny. He goes, "What is it, Natasha?" He goes, "What was that? What was what?" And then Blake also interjects, "That. You. Was that your semblance?" "What are you talking about?" "You just stared at them and they paused. How did you do that? It felt like you were overwhelming." "Ah, no, 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 no. That's just blood. No, no, no. That's just bloodlust." "Bloodlust?" "Oh, yeah. Most hunters have it where I'm from." um, well, they figured it out from the animals where we're from. You build up enough of it, and heck, if you release it at just the right time, you could scare off a horde of smaller ones just by being intimidating. It's really good whenever you're trying to keep yourself hidden and you're about to be spotted by some small prey. Or, well, if you're trying to attract the attention of a bigger beast and you just happen to have enough to make it catch your to make it pop up on his radar. I see. So you're saying, yep, I just happen to be that bloodthirsty. You're scary, Ignatius. Thank you. That wasn't a compliment. Aw, come on now. I don't like I do it all the time. Besides, I have to have some sort of edge against you people and your semblances. John just goes, "Yeah, wish I had something like that." Hey, Jean. "Yeah? Tell me, do you know how to use those things?" "What, you mean my weapons?" "Yes." "Well, not, yeah." Like, oh. "Well, how about this? During the next training hall, me and you team up together. Show me what you got." Are you sure?" "Sure. Leader against leader. We'll find out we'll figure out who's on top of the chain." I don't think that's a good idea." "Oh, relax, my friend, relax. I'm not actually going to try and hurt you. I just want to see where you're at. And if you want, I can give you some proper lessons on how my people use the shield and sword." "You have a shield and sword?" "Oh, yes, it's in my storage box." "Well, why didn't you bring it with you instead of... Speaking of which, why are you carrying that thing around?" "Looks and intimidation, and it makes me feel somewhat safer knowing I have a giant shield. I can't wear my armor. I'd at least like to have something here that can guard me." "Okay, but why carry the lance?" "It's habit. You bring one out with the other." "Have the other teachers..." "Yes." "And why are you still..." "They couldn't convince me." "Wouldn't you get written up?" "Not really." "Why?" "Special circumstances." "Special circumstances?" "Yep. They kind of realized that I'm not from around here. Or really anywhere they kind of know about different cultures and all that, and I get to carry my weapon. As long as I don't use it, I get to carry it. Makes me feel happy." "You're very weird, Ignatius." "Thank you." Again, that's not a compliment. "I know, but I'm trying my best to look at the positives of this situation. I'm not in my armor, damn it." You really are very nervous when you're not in your armor, huh? "Yes." "I don't know, I could get used to this view," as Ruby states, and kinda gets a little bit flustered as she does. Goes, um, well, thanks, I guess. I mean, yes, you don't look bad looking, Pyra says. "Well, I know that, it's just... let's just put it there, I came here under very strange circumstances. The last time I let down my guard, it nearly cost me my life. I don't feel like doing that again. You gotta learn to relax sometimes, Yang states. They're like, I know. As Galen and Ignatius and even Natalia kind of go, well, looks like you get to train us on how to do other things, and we get to train you on how to relax. I do. Oh, by the sapphire stars. And that, my friends, is where I'm gonna end it off here. Now, please note, though this may have been a milder chapter, it's a good setup, and it does have some important key details. I hope you all had a nice day, and stay tuned because there will be another one later this evening. Bye for now.